Hello my dear royals and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I edit my royal high photos in my original, normal kind of style that I usually do. And so first things first, I want to start off by saying what app I use and some tips and tricks before we get started. So first things first, I use the app called IBIS Paint X, which is available for iPhone and iPad. And also there is like kind of a premium thing. As you can see here, I have all of the kind of brushes unlocked, but usually if you have the normal version, it shows it's locked. And don't worry, you can still edit without like buying anything. You just have to watch a quick ad and it'll unlock all of the brushes for a whole 24 hours. So don't worry. I made sure that this tutorial does not require any money spent. That is totally your choice though. And so yeah, and so let's get started. So first things first, the first thing I do with my photos is I kind of edit the saturation and stuff a bit. So I already edited this one, I just don't have it applied yet, but I'll show you guys. So I just go here and go to filter, and you can adjust hue, saturation, lightness, all these different ones. I usually do the hue, saturation, lightness, so like you can kind of mess around with how light or like what hues you kind of want, but I don't edit it too drastic, so this is how I have mine set to. So it's not too different, I just have it more bright and colorful. And then the next thing I focus on is either hair or skin. Today I'm going to be doing skin first. So I already kind of started on the skin, but I'm going to show you guys how I do it first. So I'll show you what I just kind of did, but I will. So here we go and make another layer and do add. Now I'll delete all these other layers because it's kind of confusing. But you add another layer and add, which is like the lightness. And then you can go to airbrush, and you can use, I use either normal airbrush or triangle airbrush. This time I'll just be using triangle maybe. And you just kind of get up close, and you see how there are darker spots and lighter spots. Usually when on the face, it's usually like your nose part that's highlighted, your forehead, maybe the bridge a bit, and then like the chin area. So I just go ahead and highlight those areas kind of more than others, but you can add some onto the side just to make it look a little more even. And then of course I'm going to do the top of the ear, not the inside, but it's up to you. Sometimes I do the inside. And then of course we have like the legs. You can put it on a separate layer, or you can do it the same layer depending on how light you want it to be compared to the face. I'll just show you here. And then if it's looking a little like unblended, you can go ahead and go to blur, or you can use the blur tool. I like to go to blur just because it's so much easier. And you can just kind of blend it in and then use the blur tool as well. But I prefer going into like filter just because it kind of helps. And make sure the blur tool is on that layer that says add. So let me see. So this is how I have mine, but this is the sample one we just did. So I'm going to go ahead and use mine and delete that. So now we are on the same page. I didn't skip ahead with any other steps. So now we're going to go on to, you can choose whatever you want to start with. I usually just start with either the hair or the face, depending, but I'm going to go ahead and emphasize the eyes now. So what you want to do is, it's up to you, but how I do it is I just kind of emphasize colors And then also like the glare, so, or like the little lights in the eyes. So here, you can even add extra lighting if you like. And then here. See how it kind of makes it like pop out here? So here and then there. And then you can go ahead and also kind of add on some more on the white part of the eyes. Maybe not the whole thing because it's kind of faded where it's darker on the top. So maybe not add. And then you can go ahead and blend it if you want, like with blur. Kind of blend it in to make it kind of match. You know, see? And then here, maybe not blend it all the way. By the way, you can adjust the opacity of it. So here I have it at like 24 right now, and then that way you're not like blurring it the whole thing at once. You can just kind of adjust it. And then once I'm like kind of satisfied with the eyes, maybe add a little more of light if I really want it to pop. Like you can just add a bit of extra detail if you want. You don't have to though. This is entirely up to you. You don't have to follow this tutorial step by step, but this is just what I do, and then you guys can take inspiration or do it however you want. And so once I'm satisfied with the eyes, I usually head over to the lips because I'm already kind of there. So I'm using the pen fade right now. Sorry, I'm not really announcing what pens I use. And then I'm going to go ahead and use linear burn first. And then this is used to kind of emphasize the darker areas of the lips or what you want to be more darkened. And so I kind of do it in like the middle and then sometimes on the outside to kind of give her lip liner, I guess. And so also sorry if my pronunciation is kind of off. I'm maybe not the best at pronouncing, so please bear with me. But yeah, so I just kind of, it's okay if you have to erase and it takes you a couple tries. No one gets it on the first try. And so there we go. And it kind of just outlines it. Now, if you don't like it, like here, I don't really like the outside lip part. So you can just go ahead and erase it. Like, don't be afraid to just restart your whole thing. Like, especially with the hair, which we'll get into in a bit. If you're not satisfied with it, then you can restart at any time. Like, I know it'll take longer and stuff, and there's been times where I've just sat there trying to fix it for hours, but honestly, sometimes you just need a fresh start, and then it ends up getting better and better as you go on. And then here, I'm just kind of outlining the glare a little more. There's a glare up here. See? And then you can add on extra glare if you want. This time, I'm not really going to. I mean, I can test, like, stuff out. But I think it looks pretty good there with this glare. And then, if you want, I like to add on. So, we're going to add another layer and add. By the way, the glare for the lips was also an add layer. And I'm going to use the pen fade again. That's like my favorite brush to use. And I kind of come under the eye, and you see how it's like kind of highlighted like with the makeup and stuff, or like the corners of the eye. You can kind of emphasize that where you add some lighter areas and then you can blend it to kind of make the eyes pop. And then again, you can, so if you come here to layer, you can adjust the opacity or transparency of it. So there. And then you can go ahead and like blend it more if you want. This is gonna be a long tutorial, but hey, it's good to get it all done in one sitting. So there we go. And so if you want to see like kind of the difference, it just kind of helps the eyes pop more. You don't need it. It's just up to you. And then usually I'll come back to the face later if I want more detail. But right now we are going to move on to the clothing. So I'm going to start kind of here at the top. I was going to start with the skirt, but I think I kind of want to start with the top. So we're just going to use airbrush triangle again and then add. And then we're just kind of going to add some lighting wherever we want. So here I'm like just kind of adding it in areas I think like where the light is more visible. So like here, and then we can blend it. You can blend it if you want. You don't have to right away though. I usually wait till the end when I'm done with the clothes or almost done, or at least with like that specific area. And then here we can just kind of emphasize like the bustle and stuff. And you can adjust the transparency again if you don't want it to be too light in certain areas. And you can add on as many layers. Like you don't have to do it all in one layer. I just tend to because it's easier to keep track of if I need to go back. But it's entirely up to you. You just have to be careful and keep track of what's on each layer or what area that certain part of the edit is. So a lot of the times, like I'll make an accidental line on a layer, like just a line right in between the whole edit, like something like that. And then I'd have to go back and look through every single layer to see which one has that line so I can erase it. And that's kind of a pain. So to save you like some time, you can kind of group all of your different, all your different details for each section into kind of one group or one section of the layers, if you know what I mean. So now that we've kind of highlighted a bit, we might highlight some more, but I'm going to go ahead and use the blur again and kind of blend it in a bit. And then we can go back in if we want on this layer and kind of add on more, emphasize the flowers more. I really like to emphasize the flowers just because I feel like it gives it a lot more detail. But again, you don't have to do a lot of detail if you don't want to. It's entirely up to you. I'm just showing the way I usually do it. But again, everyone has their own style and there is no wrong answer. So after that, we will revisit the clothes in a bit and like the accessories around it. But we're going to go ahead and start to edit the wings now. So we're going to add some light areas in between the neon. Like, I don't know what to call it. Oh my goodness. But basically just like in between each line, the transparent sections, we're just going to kind of emphasize that with the light. And if I kind of like it like this, maybe like a little bit more blended, but you don't have to have it as light. And then we're going to add another layer and kind of just go in and emphasize the neon now. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Again, you can just do the neon or you can just do the middle. It's there's no right or wrong answer. Everyone is different. Some people like to make their edits more simple or focus on other aspects, such as the person themselves, and then just kind of blur the background. And that's totally okay. I've made edits like that before in the past, and I still have them to this day up on my Instagram page. So it's more about finding your kind of style. So this is to kind of like make your wings pop. If you have wings. Some people don't have wings on, and that's okay. This is a nature fairy edit, so of course I had to give her little nature wings. This is my OC Clementine. And there we go. And then, of course, you can adjust the transparency. I'm going to kind of leave them glowing because I feel like that's going to be the main part of the edit. And then I'm going to go ahead and just kind of edit some accessories. Emphasize the flower because, again, I love the flower and I want it to be a part of the main detailing. Oh my goodness. That's a bright flower, y'all. And then while I'm at it, I'll just go ahead and emphasize other parts, such as the pearls. I do another detailing with the pearls, which I'll show later. But yeah, just kind of... And then I'll go ahead and lighten the clovers up a bit. I'm not too worried about the clovers because they're kind of a darker part. They don't need that much light. And then we can go ahead. There we go. So now that the flower is kind of emphasized, I'm very happy with it. And then I forgot to add some on this part. So there we go. Okay. Now just small detailing and stuff. Okay. So I'm pretty satisfied with this. I'm going to go ahead and work on the shoes real quick because I totally forgot about them. Again, you don't have to. A lot of the times my edits don't even show shoes. So no pressure. And I'm just going ahead and using an add layer again. And then now to the fun part, the hair. So the hair is kind of the most longest part. That's why I kind of left it towards the end for this one. Just because it takes me, or it's like a lot more detail going into hair. Like that's where I put the most detail. So here we're going to add another layer and do add again. And then we're going to do this little finger. We're going to press this little finger button here next to the ruler. And we're going to turn on force fade and do length of start 100%, length of end 100%. And then also shape of fade, we're going to do the linear. So now that we have that, I like to set my my brush to about 1.1, 1.2, depending on how thick you want the lines or the highlights to be. You'd like to have them kind of smaller, not too thick and prominent. And then we're just going to kind of do tests. I'm going to do it 1.1 instead of 1.2. And then we're just going to go ahead and make a bunch of different lines. And by the way, you can use either dip pen soft or dip pen hard. I'm using dip pen soft, but sometimes I use dip pen hard because it looks more clean. But it's totally up to you, and it also depends on the photo and how big the hair is and how close it is to the camera. Sorry, I'm filming this pretty late at night. But then we're just going to go ahead and in these blonde, we're going to focus on the blonde areas first because there's not as many. And we're just gonna kind of emphasize either highlighted areas, or you can highlight the whole thing. Sometimes I do that because I just feel like it, or I like it better than only highlighting certain areas. It all depends on what you think looks best. It's not the same for every single edit. So like here, I don't know if I like this, so I can go ahead and like add on more, make them longer and stretch out over more, kind of take up like the whole piece. And then here, there's, well, here I don't like it, so I'm going to go ahead and erase it. Do not be afraid to erase it and restart, because sometimes it'll end up better than the first and you'll like it a lot more. And I really struggled with that because I just wanted to get like the edit done. I was like, oh, I've been working so hard, I don't want to have to redo parts of it. Do not be afraid to, because sometimes it'll end up looking a lot better than before, and then you'll be, see, I like that a lot better. And then, so now that we're done with the blonde areas, oh wait, JK, there's more. Okay, there we go. So now that we got the blonde areas done, we're gonna go ahead and add another layer, and we're gonna do the red. So you can adjust, see, that's like 2. I don't know if I like that. That feels like a neon red. This is better. You can do a few tests first to see if you like it. Okay, I like that. So let's go ahead and just start on the top. I like to start on the top just because it's the easiest. And just go ahead and put it wherever you think. I'm kind of going crazy with the highlights right now just because. And see here, I like to just kind of stick it. Don't want to stop screen recording. I just kind of want to, or I kind of like to stick it in the middle to make it so like the darker areas, and then it's highlighted in the middle. And then just kind of spam the lines. Again, I'm using Dip Pen Soft in 1.1 size, but you can adjust the size however you want it, or depending on how close your character is to the camera. Alright, so now that we're done with kind of the bun part, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the front, like the front kind of, I guess, no, they're not curtain bangs, just the front parts. So we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna focus just on the lighter areas for this one, because I don't want to add too much to the front. And speed this up for you guys since we already did the other side. Add a couple strands more. So we're gonna start with the normal layer, and we're gonna pick a color of like the normal hair and just kind of add like some hairs that kind of stick out. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but it kind of adds extra detailing. That was green. Woo. And makes it seem more realistic. And then we're gonna go ahead and kind of do it in the bun, make it like kind of a messy bun. And then, woo, add little curls. do some blonde too, just to kind of mix it up. There we go. We're going to add some sticking out here. And there we go. It looks super cute. I'm loving it so far. And so now is the fun part. We're going to add on some extra details. You don't have to do this part, but it is probably one of my most favorite parts. So we're going to go ahead and grab the beads for the pearls and kind of just add them here. Whoops. And add a normal layer. And just kind of add them over the necklace just to kind of... Now, you don't have to do this. I just kind of do it because it's fun. I don't always do it. I just kind of do it when I feel like it or feeling kind of extra, which is totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and adjust them. And then erase the parts behind the hair. Ooh. And then add the little tiny ones. I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer and put it under the big ones just so it gives it that effect of going under the pearls. And then erase the areas. And there we go. And then we can go ahead and double check if you want to add like little pearl earrings. That's fine too. And then just... There we go. And then just double check if there's anything else that you want to kind of bedazzle. And then we're going to go ahead and start on the background. So for the background, we're going to do a layer and then add. And go back to airbrush triangle. And just kind of emphasize, like lighten it up a bit. You know, just have fun with it basically. And then we'll adjust the lighting too. And we'll adjust how light we want it in a minute. Yeah, just kind of have fun with it. Make it kind of pop out. And then we also have the flower here, so we're going to add another layer. Just kind of highlight the flower a bit. Since it's kind of a huge part of the edit, it takes up like half the space, or maybe less than half, but you know what I mean. It takes up a lot of the space kind of in the corner here. So we're just going to make it look pretty. And then also do the leaves. And then also I wanted to do the pink flowers a bit. And the tree trunk. And then let's do the middle. And then blur it. And then we can adjust the transparency. Same with the other layer. Let's blur it and then transparency. And then next thing, so a lot of the times in these photos, the Roblox logo kind of comes up in the corner, so we're just going to go ahead and cover that up. Make it kind of blend in with the background. There we go. And then finally we can add some details. So like if you want to do, sometimes I do like the little frame thingy. And then do like add sometimes and then blur it, or like just regular normal. I'm debating if I want it like this. Kind of like it like that, and then do like a and then add some like sparkles and stuff. I usually add my bubbles, but I'm not gonna add bubbles for this one because I feel like the bubbles don't really match. So I'm gonna do like pink little sparkles, shimmer. Just gonna put them everywhere. She's a fairy, so she needs her pixie dust. then I'm going to adjust this frame a bit. I'm debating if I like it or not. And then you're done. And you can go ahead and add your watermark. I have my watermark here. So you can just add it wherever. Maybe I'll do mine here by her feet and make it a bit transparent, and you're done. So you can go ahead and save it, and yeah, all done. And so basically that is it, unless you want to add on more, of course. Everyone's style is different, but again, you don't have to follow this tutorial step by step. It's all up to you. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And please like, subscribe, and comment down below if you want any tutorials for other things like hair textures. I have no idea, but yeah. So bye, Royals.